Hello, welcome to Tea with Melly. Today we're with Miss Caroline Chisanga. She is the president and CEO of URGolf LLC. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Molly.
We were just practicing your last name and I was admiring that, so I'm glad I got it right.
Perfect. That was beautiful.
I want to start the show off by asking you, why golf and what is URGolf?
Well, why golf?
Why golf?
There's so many answers to that question, but I think the biggest reason is just I've always loved golf. I played in high school. I was a state champion golfer in Michigan, and I went on and played a little in college and really loved the sport. And as an adult, looking back now, I realize what an impact it had on my life. You know, it teaches patience and honesty and integrity, and it's such a great opportunity to spend some quality time with people. And we've been able to form an opportunity for supporting that industry in a way that is benefiting our clients through marketing at the golf course and raising money for charity at the same time. So it's really exciting. And the golf industry does so much for charity and nonprofit organizations. They actually do more than all other professional sports combined. So that's the reason.
Yeah. So let's go back a little bit. You decided to become an entrepreneur and start this, but prior to doing that, what led you to basically say you were going to do something that was yours? And then we'll definitely go deeper into the nonprofit realm and what inspired you to kind of approach that angle. But what led you to entrepreneurship?
Well, I had 2 children. And as a mom, it's very hard to juggle that professional career with the need and want to be a better mom and spend more time with your kids. And after my divorce, being a single mom, it really took a toll on me, and not having the ability to be on the field trips and take days off when kids are sick. And so I really wanted to do something that allowed me to be the best mom that I could be and spend as much time with them as I could. And that was my #1 driving force, honestly, just to be with my kids more.
How did you come up with the idea? Because it's such a unique idea. Like, what inspired you? Was there a moment? Did you have an experience that led you to, I'm going to start this company? Yeah, what was the aha?
I actually, in wanting to work at home, I sold advertising on grocery carts, which I'm sure everyone's seen before. Okay. You know, you're pushing your cart and there's an ad in front of you. And I did that for a while, and I found that I was relatively good at sales. And I liked connecting with people and really learning about their business, and it really inspired me to be able to offer them an opportunity to grow their business, which is what marketing really is. And I was out golfing in northern Michigan and talking with my boyfriend, and he was a superintendent at a golf course. And I don't know what it was, but I just looked at the golf cart and thought, no one is doing anything. You have a captive audience that is primarily people with expendable income, and there's this golf cart, and it just looked like a blank canvas, you know, and so I dropped everything, and that was the moment where we said, okay, this is an awesome opportunity. No one is doing this. Let's do it. And that was 2 summers ago.
So what was the first project that you had to consider when you said, okay, you have this aha moment, you see a golf cart, you decide, okay, well, why not put marketing and promotion and brands on golf carts? What was next?
Well, coming from the grocery cart scenario, doing a little research on the demographic you're reaching, I found that, you know, you're reaching a captive audience, yes, higher demographic, mostly people that are golfers have expendable income, business owners, decision makers. So there was a lot of research that went in on the back end of the company before we really went to a full launch. And figuring out how we wanted to name it and brand ourselves was fun, and doing something a little creative. But I did have a technical background, so before I jumped out of, you know, I jumped into, rather, the advertising world, I was in IT for a long time. And so I worked for the government. I did a lot of work for FEMA, and I found myself flying around in a helicopter, you know, assessing debris on the beaches from Hurricane Ike and putting reports together that went right back to the White House. And I have a technical skill that a natural, I guess, ability to work with technology. I'm just good with science. And so in comparison to what I had been doing, I really wanted to create something that would actually give a return on investment that was trackable. So I took my technology background and created the software that works in a way that nothing else in the industry does, to actually capture the names and information of the golfers and put promotions right on their hand, in their phone, while they're on the course. So that's kind of how it all came together. My technical background, my love for golf, and my love for just humanity and working with the charities, it just is a perfect marriage of marketing. And they call me, a geek with game for that reason. So
I was going to ask you about, you have a nickname. I was going to ask you, but you just totally gave us the backstory.
Yeah.
Funding for a company, okay? I want to talk about this because we do have viewers who are very interested in discovering what their passions are. Here on the show, we highlight everyday people who are choosing their passion and doing something good with it, whether it's through a business or a cause. And I'd love for you to talk about how do you go about finding funding? How do you start to invite people to really buy into this vision that you have, your aha moment? How do you make an aha moment become something that's real, that's tangible, and that makes sense for other people to actually invest in?
Well, for me, my experience was very unique, it was just grassroots. I really beat the street, worked really, really hard to get the word out there locally, and I live in Frederick, Maryland. And one of my former bosses, actually, I went to him, and he knew what kind of work ethic I had, and we had stayed friends after I left his company. And I said, his name is Daryl Much, and I went to him and Wendy, his wife, and I told him what I wanted to do and what my idea was and what the possibilities were and how big it could be. And I just needed a little money, and he funded the first funding that I got. That was my first chunk that I got. It was like $8,000, it was just this little bit, but it was enough to just keep me going, that first step that you have to make to go in the right direction. So that was our first, and that was probably the most amazing opportunity for me because somebody believed in me, somebody really believed in me. And I think it was just because I was so passionate. And I've never had a moment where I did not believe in what we're doing. And I think that is the inspiration that they saw. And I don't think they have a lot of money to, give me or whatever, but they found a way to help me resource and fund that startup moment. And then I was lucky enough and just in the right place at the right time to get a microphone. And I was at one of the ProView events, right, with Mike Bird and Doc Walker, and a great group of guys that also kind of helped me introduce me to people like you that are just fantastic. And there was a guy there, and he heard me on the microphone, and he came up to me and he said, "I would love to invest in your company." And I was like, wow, really? And so I got his information from Mike, and I called him, and he said, "Well, I'm in Pennsylvania. I'll be back in a few days. I'm up here working on a job." And I said, "That's only 6 hours away. I can be there tonight for dinner." And I jumped in my car. I went there. I met him, sat down, had dinner, and we shook hands, and that's it. I had an investor, and it's been amazing. I mean, he's believed in everything we're doing and has been an amazing partner for me. So
I want to touch upon this concept of going where the signs lead you. And we were talking off camera about this, that an opportunity lands in front of you, and we can have 1,000 excuses and reasons why we can't, we shouldn't, it's probably not the right time. We talk ourselves out of things that are apparently delivered to us. And being able to distinguish whether or not it's the value, like what's the opportunity cost of not doing. Can you talk a little bit about your experience with that, and how do you decide when to say yes to something and when to pause and say no?
Sure. There was one moment that defined that for me in my life. You know how you have that gut instinct that is just in there, and sometimes you listen, sometimes you don't, sometimes I'm just gonna go ask him to dance, that kind of thing. And my daughter was very young. She was just a few months old, and I had just gone back to work. And it was so hard leaving a newborn at a lady's house to watch her. This lady was watching her for me. And something just told me, go home early. Just go home. And I don't know what it was. I just had this feeling. And I got there, and my daughter was still strapped into her car seat from being dropped off that morning. The breast milk that I had pumped for her was still sitting there on the floor, and she had dried tears on her face. And from that moment on, anytime my gut tells me something, I listen. And I don't know, I think that there's something inside of all of us that we deny. You know, that natural animal instinct is always there to protect, and, you know, that fight or flight is constantly in the back of your mind. And I think being able to recognize good people, you know, it's something that not everyone is able to do, unfortunately. And maybe if you can find someone that you know is able to find good people, and ask them to help you, you know, if you're not able to identify those opportunities, or maybe you're not good at identifying them, there's nothing wrong with asking for help. And that's another thing I haven't been scared to do. I will ask anyone, whether I just want someone to take a picture of me on the street, I will ask them for help, or ask someone to help me, I need money, or, you know, I need help with my kids, or whatever it is. Because naturally people want to be wanted and needed, and that is what creates humanity between us, you know? So if you have the gut instinct and it works for you, follow it, right? If you don't, and you notice yourself making bad decisions, we're human. That may be a weakness, and there's nothing wrong with being weak, but not listening to your weaknesses is just as bad as not taking advantage of your strengths. So,
one key thing about you that I felt was quite interesting when we first met was that you're curious. And you find wonderful things about people, especially with first impressions. And I'm an observer of people, as you are. And when we met, it was something, a sparkle in your eye. There was a curiosity, and that curiosity was, well, what do you do? I'd love to sit and talk with you. And not everybody can do that. You know, usually you have people who wait for you to approach, but you didn't have that. You gave me your card and said, I want to see you. You followed up right away. And then when I followed up, you wrote right away, and you're a busy person. As an entrepreneur, I want to bring this point. You do have to ask for help when you need it, and you know you have your strengths, but you also have your weaknesses. But you also have to stay curious. You also have to ask the tough
Absolutely.
questions. So let's talk about your curiosity. When you've gone through life, it really has been for you about curiosity. You were sharing stories earlier off camera again about just saying, what? Where are you going? What are you doing? And then being able to get the answer, you can then decide what to do with that. How important as an entrepreneur, and then also as a mom, because you actually have to lead your children, and you have to have that entrepreneurial spirit as a mom.
Absolutely, yeah.
How do you keep your curiosity fed, and how does that impact the work that you do?
I always look at everyone as you're very human. I'm very human. We're all very human, right? But what inspires you could be something completely different than what inspires me. And I think what inspires any person is true, and it's honest, and it's real. No matter if it's the sunset, or it's, you know, their pet, or it could be pottery, or anything. You know, you never know what inspires people, and you're never going to know if you don't ask them. And I guess I'm inspired by others' inspiration. So being curious, I think, is such a huge piece of getting to know people and connecting with them on a very real level. And you can talk to Bill Gates, or you can talk to your waitress at your lunch restaurant and be inspired by them if you talk to them and connect with them. But being curious about life is natural, but not accepting the opportunity to ask is, I think it's just such a loss, you know, if you don't ask questions. And my kids, you know, they're always that, well, why, Mom? Well, why? You know, all these kids, that's what everybody goes through, that why phase. I think I'm still there. I think I'm always going to be there, because I always want to learn. I want to absorb everything around me constantly. I just was telling you about the guy I met on LinkedIn. First time I ever talked to him, his name is Dan. First time ever talking to him, I was expecting it to be like a 5-minute pitch, you know, basically. We were on the phone for like an hour and a half. Before I got off the phone, we had booked flights to go to San Diego in a couple of days together and just adventure the countryside, and never gone to the West Coast. And I got to meet Switchfoot, the band. And for me, they are curious. They're curious about life. They put themselves in awkward situations intentionally to be able to inspire people and to learn about people in general. And like sociology is just such an amazing study of people, you know, and I think being curious is natural, but I think a lot of people deny that curiosity for the fear of being outcast. Like, you asked me, what? No, and I will come and ask you, what kind of shoes are those? Those are beautiful. And that is a connection, because I love your shoes, you know, and before you know it, let's go have lunch, you know, let's go, and you may make a friend, but if you never ask, you're never gonna find out. And building a business is all about doing things that no one else has ever done before, thinking outside of the box, asking questions. And I love asking the people that work with me and work for me, what do you think? You know, what's your opinion? Because I have great opinions. In my opinion, my opinions are the best opinions, but it may not mingle with everyone. And if we can appeal to the masses, that's wonderful. But if we can appeal to this guy because we did something unique and different, that's more inspiring to me. Yeah.
Why do you care about marketing? And most especially, why do you care about marketing other people?
Well, the best way I can put it is I always think, you know, marketing is like, without marketing, you can be the most amazing, beautiful woman and sit there and be winking at a guy across the room. But it would be like doing it with the lights turned off. He'd never see you, you know? He would never notice you. So I think without marketing, you have no platform to expand yourself and reach other people and inspire people. And there's so many companies out there that want to do great things. And I love the opportunity to put them in front of other people that want to connect with them. It's like I'm the eHarmony of the world, right, when I'm in marketing. You know, I'm pulling these great people from over here and I'm getting them in front of these other great people over there. And it's like being able to put these blind dates together every day, all day long. So I just really love marketing, and I love the way that it pulls people together. And it is a creativity, you know, it is a way of expressing yourself.
Where does that come from though, Caroline? Because, you know, we all have these unique gifts and things drive us. We have definitely we have motivating factors that lead us to love what we love and hate what we hate and desire what we desire and repel from things that we don't want. But there's got to be some place in your life, maybe you don't know it yet, but I'll throw it out there, where connecting people and making bonds happen matter to you. And I find in my work that people choose their purpose in whatever role they play based on two major motivating factors. One is that they've had such a lack of it that they can't imagine a world dealing with what they had to deal with because they had that lack, and so they want to give it. And then there's the extreme overflow of having something that they still can't imagine a world not having all that they had. And so do you know where that comes from?
I'm not positive, but I think that it just comes from, I grew up in a very, very small town. Very small town. Everyone was very naive to reality outside of our small town. And I think I loved the idea that when I found this huge world, you know, when I left the small town, there was just so much out there to see and feel and connect with. And this reality was so exciting, you know. And I think being able to deliver a message to someone was just so empowering to me that when I started seeing the power of delivering a message, the power of connecting someone, it just feeds something inside of me. And I don't know where it comes from, but I just love that opportunity to bring good people together. And growing up in this little island, there's so many small people that are all connected to one another in such an intimate way that it's almost like they're their own little network of life, and everything outside of that doesn't exist, you know? And when I realized that it does exist, I wanted to tell everyone, and marketing is a great way to do that because you can reach them on TV in their little town, you can reach them on the golf course in their little town, and it's just so fun. And it's such a creative, I've always been, my mom has always been an artist. I've always loved painting and singing. I'm so inspired by art and music. And I think marketing is an art form. I mean, you take songs that inspire people and connect with them on a very real level with music. And then you take graphics and artwork and branding and you put it together and it forms it is your image. It is you. So it's a creative way of expressing your product and your company and your goals and sharing it with the world.
I resonate with you so much right now. I feel like I'm talking to myself. It's amazing. Thanks for your insights. I also want to ask you your vision for your cart. Because I know you have big dreams. You're a dreamer, but you also make it happen. You're manifesting your reality. And I think that's very powerful because it does take hard work. You said earlier that you had to pound the pavement, you had to hit the streets, and so many of us dream, and we dream big. Everybody has the ability to dream. We dream while we're awake all the time, daydreaming, fantasizing, writing it down. Right? Exactly. This is also an illusion and a dream. Then we don't know what's gonna come out of what we do today, but we have to do the work. We really have to do the work. And so, as you continue to do your work and expand, where do you see your cart going?
Worldwide, definitely. I know that there's a need for financial support for people all over the world. Probably more outside of the United States than here. You know, I mean, I think we're amazingly lucky to live where we do and to be raised and born here. I know that I'm blessed in that sense because I am proud to be an American, you know, to put it a little cliche, but I really am. And I think that there's so many people that are here that want to do the same thing. Years ago, we put all these books together. There's a place called Book Thing in Baltimore, and I went there and just got all these free books, all my favorite books from high school, British literature, you know, Shakespeare, and all these stories that inspired me to want to find, like I'm saying, get out of that bubble and explore the world. And I want to take that and let other kids and other people and other women that maybe have gone through some hard times. My life's not been roses and butterflies, you know, and I want them to know that their dreams are not impossible, you know, and I think that we're creating an avenue to be able to touch a lot of lives, to be able to raise millions and millions and millions for charity all over the world, and expand our company. I'm thinking to Dubai, to China, to South Africa, to Australia, Europe. I mean, there's golf courses all over the world that we can use as a platform to spread the word about, you know, stand up and do something good for for the country, for the economy, and use marketing as the caveat to do that. And there's 40,000 golf courses in the world, and I plan on talking to every single one of them at some point. I'm not going to stop. In my whole life, I think I'm going to be working and
you'll be
doing
busy.
this forever.
You and your team will be busy.
Yeah.
Let's touch upon charity, because we didn't really go into that, but that is such a key component of your cart. In fact, it is the key component.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not just about marketing corporations, not just about allowing people the visibility with their companies to reach their consumers, but the key element is that you're intentionally attaching charities to your mission. So can we go into that?
Sure. So growing up, my father was an alcoholic, and AA saved my family. If it wasn't for AA, my parents would have split long ago. And when my dad sobered up, he changed. He changed into this amazing father. Sorry. And when I was a really little kid, he would dress up like Santa and dress us up like elves. And we had no money. I mean, we lived in a trailer. We were always scraping by somehow, you know, but the fact that we were able to do so much with so little, it was just, obviously, it was amazing for me. And I think to be able to deliver that to the world is just an awesome opportunity.
It's inspiring.
Yeah, and I mean, we only touched a few families. You know, we delivered some Christmas presents or, you know, turkey and some milk to these families dressed like little elves with my dad. Thank you. But seeing the way that inspired me at 8 years old, to be able to inspire other people to do good and to feel what I felt as a kid, no riches can buy that feeling. there's no comparison to changing the life of another person.
Well, I'm so glad you went there because, and I'm sorry I made you cry.
No, it's okay.
But,
it's good tears. I mean, I love my
yes.
dad so much for what he did to change and to make us a family again. So.
Well, I apologize for making you cry, but I'm also not sorry because I think
there's nothing wrong with crying.
There's definitely nothing wrong with crying. And we think about the work that we do in the world. Everyone who's watching and listening now can identify with this, I hope. Our motivating factors happen to us way, way before we even had true adult awareness, right? And we make decisions sometimes before we're even 2 years old. But consciously, and when we actually can put thoughts together, it's a very young age. And both you and I have made decisions very early on as children that we were going to take care of our family. I mean, children do that. We take care of our family. We take care of our parents. We protect them. And when you can take those memories that were painful and then be inspired by how you were able to have change in your family and use that to be basically the catalyst for what becomes your mission in life, whether it's through your cart or whether it's through another evolution of your cart or whatever will come in the future. At the end of the day, we have to ask ourselves, what is it that keeps us going to do what we are inspired to do for the rest of our lives? And for you, that sharing that story just validated for me why you have such passion. And it's because it's not about your family and you anymore. It's about every single family who's struggling like yours did, and that they have hope in being able to have organizations that can change their lives.
And I think it's so neat that we can really it doesn't have to be millions of dollars. I mean, I think your card is amazing because we are able to allow some large companies that do have budgets to spend and allocate those funds and put them towards something awesome that's still going to deliver a great return on investment for their company, but at the same time can do so much and change millions of people's lives and save thousands of animals or humans or whatever we're doing, trees, it doesn't matter. Let's just do something good, let's get inspired. Let's do something awesome. And I think life is too short to think you can't do anything because anyone can do something. You can help an old lady cross the road today. And guess what? She's going to love it, but you're going to love it even more. You really are. I mean, feeling good is so contagious. It is. And I feel good when I'm with you, so I want to be with you. I want to spend more time with you. It's so great to make that connection with people. And I think we're able to do that on so many levels, and volunteering and getting, we're going to start doing internships with the National Honor Society to get young kids out on the golf course and get them to start volunteering and connect with them on this level too. So it's so awesome. I mean, it really is. And I don't know, religion or politics or any of these things, they just kind of all blend together when you're talking about humanity as a whole. It's a very real thing to smile at someone, and that can change their whole day. And it doesn't cost anything, So
yeah, it really is motivated by love and the love we have to see change in the world. It's a lot of investment, though, and I want to talk about that. It's a lot of investment of our heart. It's a lot of investment of our time, lots of sacrifices, late nights. We joke a lot on the set because, everything here is volunteer too, but when our guests leave, it's not over. And, when the clients get their names on their golf course, you don't stop working. We have to edit, you have to go out and business develop, you have to make other charities, give them a platform, you have to talk to them, got to have interns to train. So yes, it's all there for a cause, but it's going to take effort and it's manpower. So I say that because I want to ask the next question. How do you keep the stamina? How do you continue physically, mentally, emotionally? Especially because it's still a young dream that's being manifested. It's still in its early phases, and there's a deep belief, I know, but it's still hard to get up and do it every day.
My kids. I don't, for anyone that has kids, I'm sure they can relate, but I'm pretty sure that I could walk through a burning fire pit to do something to make my kids' lives better. And it's pretty neat when my kids get it too. you know, like to see them, to see my mom look at me with pride, and then to see my daughter look at me with pride. There's something unmeasurable there. You can call it adrenaline, you can call it whatever you want, but when my 6-year-old, 7-year-old kids are telling me, wow, Mom, you just changed that person's life. And there's something magic there. I mean, that's beyond even my understanding of what happens inside of me. I literally skipped an entire day of sleep to go to an event yesterday, and I'm so glad I went because I met some amazing people. And I think that this physical form that we're in, it can be used however we want to use it. I try to eat healthy. I try to exercise. I've lost a lot of weight and, you know, tried doing better things for myself to make me feel better. Yoga and Pilates. I love doing yoga. And I think that, you know, finding something that inspires you will give you the gasoline that your body needs to just keep chugging along. And obviously you have to take a break when you need a break, you know, but there's always something that is inside of you to drive you in the right direction when you're doing something you care about. And I've surrounded myself with other people that are equally as passionate about what we're doing, and I allow them to take the torch for me, you know. And delegating is hard for somebody in my position. Yeah. It's my baby. This is my newborn. I don't want to give it away. But when you find the right people, you're excited to give it to them because you know they're going to just double our efforts and triple our efforts. And so I think finding people that are equally passionate about what we're doing and are good people is probably what keeps me going and is going to keep me going. So
are you ready for success? Are you ready for the ultimate success? You have, again, amazing dreams where you want to take it. You are also in talks of doing reality TV. Let's expand upon that. Are you ready for that kind of exposure?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm definitely ready. I just spent a few days hanging out with Switchfoot, like I was saying, and that was kind of one of the things I learned from them is, you know, he's like constantly comparing. He's a father and a husband. You know, all these band members, they're fathers and husbands, and they're gone for a year touring the world, delivering their message through music. And it's that inner battle, you know, what is the greater good? Is my family the greater good? Or are these kids that I'm reaching the greater good? And I think that there's never going to be a point where it feels 100% perfect.
Right.
But that's human nature. That curiosity, that is what we live for. That's what we wake up every day and seek out, you know. And if I can keep moving in the right direction in my success, and I allow the success that I'm giving to deliver a good message to others, I'm so ready. I'm so ready for that moment when the whole world knows about what I'm doing and how it's changed me inside to do other good things for other people. You can be inspired by music, you can be inspired by art, but you can also be inspired by yourself, right? And I inspire myself, honestly. Like, I love what I've done, and I'm so proud of what we've done, and I want to keep doing that. So I'm definitely ready for what, you know, the reality TV show. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting to give people insight into what we do, but more insight on the back end of the golf industry, the stuff people don't really get to see, the behind the scenes. I think it's going to be really fun. And also getting to know us a little bit more, you know, me, my family, my clients, my friends that I get to go golfing with, all the crazy things that have been happening. I think it's going to be a really fun show and a great opportunity for us to share the love that we have for all these charities and these amazing people that donate their time and energy to what they believe in and what they're passionate about.
So how did you come about the show? Did you go seeking for it and pitch it, or did somebody come find you and pitch you? This is something that people are watching and they're thinking, well, I want one too. How does it happen? What do I do?
It's been probably several people have said, man, you should have a reality show. You know, it's kind of like, you know, people just saying that over and over to me. And then finally we had a guy that was doing our commercial from Frederick Film Office, and he was like, all right, we're going to put together a one sheet and we're going to send it up and we're going to see what happens. And so we came up with the idea of the Queen of Carts is the name of the show.
That's great.
We're pitching it to a few different stations, and I guess whoever comes back with the best plan for us is what direction we'll go. And I just think it's an awesome opportunity to reach a much bigger audience and spread the word about what we're doing. Obviously, I want our company to expand and grow, but the opportunity, I mean, we're talking millions of dollars every single day that we can be raising for charity. Not every year, every day. It's so awesome. I mean, to not be inspired by that, you have to be dead. I mean, it's so awesome. So yeah, I'm very ready and I'm very excited.
Now, I know that you work with all kinds of charities, but I do have to ask, like, do you actually have specific charities that you absolutely resonate with? Is it more for children, for animals? Like, what are you most passionate about? And
definitely children. Anything children related, my heart melts. I would have 55,000 children if I could, if my uterus would allow. But yeah, the First Tee is an amazing program. They're golf related program, and they basically take underprivileged children and give them the opportunity to play golf. They teach them the 9 core values of life through the golf game. A lot of situations are, the kids are in a good family and maybe they just want to play with other kids, so they put them in the First Tee, but some of them are, this is the only warm meal they're getting for the day, and these are their mentors and their golf coaches who's going to, be the person they look up to. And so being able to be a part of that is amazing. And the golf industry itself, all the things that the golf industry does for nonprofits. So the First Tee is both. It's kids and it's golf. And it's a great program. But I'm definitely touched by the Boys and Girls Club. They do so many great things. Stand Up for Kids is one that we just got to do work with out in San Diego with Switchfoot, the Bro-Am that I went to. We get to hang out with the band and really talk to them and connect with them, and I got to tell them like how the music changed me and inspired me. That song, Dare You to Move, that was a song when I heard it for the first time, I cried. I mean, it was almost like he was singing to me. And there's so many people out there like that want to do good things. And there's so many charities out there, it's hard to pick 1 or 2 or 3 even. So that's why we designed it the way we did, is so that you can use your marketing money to benefit the charity that you love. And so-and-so can use their marketing money to benefit the charity they love. So we can really reach anyone and work with anyone and support anyone's dreams and what inspires them, because that's what we all want to do, So, yeah.
Wow. I'm just thinking about all the different organizations that don't know you exist yet, and then imagine the influx of charities that want to be on board with you. So I guess, question would be is, are you prepared and ramped up with the number of volunteers that you're going to need and the number of staff members you're going to need? And, I'm going to go more on the pragmatic and practical side of running a business now. Is how do you decide who to choose to be on your team? Because they do have to have certain requirements that actually have very similar vision that you do, right? That believe in the same type of giver's gain concept and mentality that you have. How do you find them? What are some challenges? And what are you most proud of about your staff and your team?
Well, how I'm finding people, it's kind of weird because they're coming to me. Yeah, I'm not really finding anyone.
That's great.
I really just am
weird.
finding people. It's such a great, the people that are coming to me obviously are passionate about what we're doing, and most of them have an experience or a story to tell of their own. And when we talk about what we can do with what we're doing and how it can inspire them and it can help their family. Oh, my aunt has brain cancer. Well, let's find a charity that supports brain cancer. Right. And let's do something about it. It's so cool because there's no limit, there's no cap on what we can do. And to support that is, every single golf course we're signing up, every single charity we're signing up, every client we're signing up, it's all coming together all at the same time. And it's amazing. And I don't know how it's happening and I don't know where it's coming from, but I know that it's happening and there's so much interest. I mean, every city I go to, every town, every place I go and talk to people, everyone wants to get involved. Everyone wants to be a part of what we're doing. So yeah, I think that we're working with the National Honor Society through the PGA to get kids involved and get them volunteering. So we're going to have lots of interns.
Good.
Lots of interns. I really like inspiring young adults to do something positive. So I like the idea of having tons of interns. I want to go to a lot of colleges and recruit right from the college level, because I think young kids need something to look forward to when they get out of school, to be inspired by.
Right.
And that's the future of our entire world, is our young adults and the youth that we're able to touch and reach with our program, not just to raise money for the charities they may depend on, but also to inspire them for themselves to do something awesome, you know? And I want to keep doing that. I want more of that. I want more of these young people, because right now our team, it's made up of all these people that have come to me that are passionate about what we're doing, that want to work with us. I have some interns that are just awesome, inspiring young people. I mean, these 19, 18-year-old kids that are putting together presentations and documents and hitting the streets, knocking on doors, and, you know, just such awesome people. And I'm definitely blessed to have the team that I have in place. And I'm excited to see what the future brings. Every day is a new adventure for me right now. So the people we're meeting every day inspire me, and I've not turned anyone away from a phone call or a meeting, or I'm sure at some point. There's only so many me's and there's only so many hours that I can be alive, but I hope that I never lose that, because that is really what I enjoy, is connecting with people. So
now, how do you handle no's? You know, we knock on doors and you love your idea. It's brilliant. You came up with it. It's your baby, you know, and you have lots of people who believe in you. You've got investors. Everything's wonderful, right? And you knock on doors and you knock on doors and you don't always get yeses. How do you handle the no's?
I make another phone call. Honestly, with the people that don't have the money to spend on marketing, it's not their fault that they don't have money to spend on marketing. I'm not mad at them that they have to say no to me, you know what I mean? But I always look at it like, you know, that's just it's an opportunity to find the right person. I mean, if this person didn't work, it wasn't meant to be, you know? And I don't really ever get disappointed or discouraged by that, because I'm always able to find the next person that does want to do it, you know? And it's kind of like nice when somebody says no, because it's like, thank you for not wasting my time. You know what I mean? Like, I would much rather you just say, you're really nice, but this is just not going to work for me. I would much rather that than you lead me on. You know what I mean? Let's just get this over with. Is this going to work for you or not? And because now I can go and find the person it is going to work for. So handling the no's, I really shrug it off pretty well. And yeah.
What's your best form of business development? And because you're a marketing company, you use this channel to help people promote. And so I want to throw that question back at you. Like, of course, I'm sure you have your logo on some carts as well, because that would only make sense. But
on every cart.
On every cart, right? Exactly. So how else might you promote and market? I
love using the golf course to build business. I actually do some keynote speaking on business development on the golf course, and it's kind of like if I were President Obama and you were my hostess at a restaurant, and we get paired up together to play golf for 5 hours. Sorry, Obama, you're gonna have to deal with me for 5 hours. So, you know, no matter where you are, it's kind of like an equalizer. You know, no matter who you are and who I am, we're going to spend 4 or 5 hours together getting to know each other. And your real true colors come out on the golf course, because it's like everybody has a bad shot. I don't care if you're Tiger Woods, you're going to have a bad shot. And if you break your golf club over your knee, or you throw it across throw it into the lake, your real personality comes out when you're playing golf. So I love taking people to the golf course, especially people who have never played, because it's so fun to share that with them. So that's probably my favorite business development tool, or breaking bread. I mean, it's great to sit down and just get to know someone over a meal or a cup of tea. I mean, it's a bonding experience, and I don't really think I've ever really sold anybody on something. I like offering it to them, and if it fits, then we move forward. If it doesn't, then usually they want to help me in some other way. You know, well, let me introduce you to so-and-so and so-and-so. And because I'm not pushing and selling them on something, if it's not a good fit for them, I really don't want to work with them anyways, you know? So business development, I think it comes from within. It's a connection, and you're not buying something from me. I'm offering it to you, and then we're going to work together forever. Right. You know, you're my friend and my client now, and that's how all my reps are too.
That's great. That's great. So who are some of your role models? Who do you look up to as you're running this organization and you're making this dream happen? Who keeps you grounded?
Well, I love Gandhi, has so many amazing quotes. I really love poetry and art. I love looking at architecture. I love looking at buildings. Graffiti artists, I think, are amazing. Musicians are amazing. Inspiration, though, I think my parents are probably the biggest inspiration for me, because through thick and thin, you know, they stuck it out. And even there was times where I was like, will you please just get a divorce? I can't take it anymore. And they didn't, you know, they stuck it out, and they love each other. And you can see that they really still love each other. And I think I'm always going to be aspiring to have that connection with the people I work with, my kids, and just to make it through what they've made it through. My mom was severely overweight, really, really overweight, and she's lost hundreds of pounds. I mean, she just looks amazing, and she's got this new energy, and she's just this inspiring person to be around. My grandfather, her father, I named my son Ivan after my grandfather. He just passed away last January. He was the reason that my father sobered up. He was an alcoholic as well, and sobered up through AA, and we always teased him because he was always gone. He's always gone, and we were like, oh, Grandpa's off seeing his girlfriend at AA again, you know? And made fun of him. And then at his funeral, thousands of people were at this man's funeral that we had never met before. And it was so weird. We were just like, who are all these people? You know, what is going on? Looking around. And it was people that he had mentored through AA, and he never even told any of us that he was doing this and changing so many people's lives. And that all these people came, and you get a coin for like your 5-year coin, and you know, and all these people were putting their coins in his casket with him. And that was amazing. To me, that was just like, he didn't care about getting the pat on the back. He just loved helping people and inspiring people. And he always had these young guys. When I was a teenager, it was fantastic. There was all this young meat around the farm, you know, farm boys here and there. But at the time, I had no idea. I thought he was just this grumpy old man making these boys, you know, carry wood and do this and do that. He was there mentoring those guys, these kids that he saw that were in trouble. And he would say, I need your help. You get over to the farm. I'm going to put you to work this weekend. But those were the guys that were there at his funeral. All these kids that he brought in that were troubled youth, he would bring them to the farm and put them to work. So my family is definitely my inspiration. From my kids to my past grandfather, I'm inspired every day by and humbled by their life and what they've done and what they've been able to accomplish emotionally with so little, you know. And I just think that anyone that can change someone else's life, no matter how, whether it's you go chop some wood or, you know, let me feed you, or let's just sit and have a cup of coffee. I think there's no help that's too small. No smile is ever going to go unused, you know? So, yeah, my family is definitely my inspiration, for sure.
Have your children ever told you what inspires them about you?
My daughter has kind of brought up a few things that I thought were pretty cool. She noticed and she knows, and I intentionally place them in places where they will see and understand why mommy's gone so much, because that kills me. It kills me that I have to be gone so much doing stuff, but I want them to understand that, you know, it is the greater good. It really is, and as soon as they're big enough, I want them with me, you know, I want them doing stuff with me. So we're going to get a motorhome. And for the TV show, we're going to take this adventure together, you know, and have them there with me, and they get it. They understand why, and they're a little sad about leaving their friends. But my daughter, you know, she's seen the look on some of these people's faces when we get to give them a huge dry erase check for thousands of dollars, and the person starts crying, and to have my kids there and have them see that, it's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Well, thanks for all the work that you do.
Thank you.
It's quite inspiring.
Thank you.
I'd love to support any way I can. This is one way to do it, is get the word out there about you and your cart. How can people find out more about you?
You can reach us online. Our website is www.urcart, which is urcart.net. You can email info@urcart.net, or you can call 844-4URCart. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on the show. Love to have you come back when you become rich and famous on your show. Hope you'll still come back to Tea with Lily.
Maybe you can come on my reality show.
I'd love to, whatever. You know, I'm going to stay curious, and I say keep my heart open to any possibility. And I think that's one lesson that we'll take away from your interview today. And so thanks for teaching me as well.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Mom.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I hope that you were inspired by Caroline's story, and I'll see you next time.